This is going to be a Excel spreadsheet and Word 2010 tutorial on mail merging. And so mail merging is going to require both Microsoft Excel and Word 2010. First, you're going to want to create an Excel document, which is going to serve as your database. So it's going to contain all the information that you want to mail merge. So, for example, you're creating this in this specific video is going to be on mail merging letters. So, if you want to send out 100 letters to 100 different people, and you don't want to, and you know there's going to be information that is going to appear on all of the letters. It's basically like a copy and paste kind of thing, but you want to have it addressed to each individual. So like the body of the letter will be the same for everybody, but you want the greeting and the address block and everything like that. That's going to be individualized. So obviously, John may be receiving the same letter as Sue, but John and Sue both need their names and addresses on their letters. Then what you need to do at that point is you need to create a database full of the information that is necessary. So you need, names. So I have first and last names. I have addresses. I have city, state, zip code, and phone number. So what you do is you need to save your database. Once you've finished making your database, you need to save it. But you also want to make sure you have these headers, because as you're going to find out later on, these headers actually make life even easier than mail. Like mail merge already makes things easy, but having the headers will make things even easier for you. Now, if you're trying to mimic me as I go through these steps, do keep in mind this is a video. You can pause it, so if you want to create a similar database to mine or the same database as mine, make sure you pause it, because I'm about to close out of the database because I have saved it already, and it is saved on my desktop. And you can see it right here. I called it Mail Merge Database. So now that I've exited out of my database, I'm going to open up Microsoft Word. Once I get into Microsoft Word, I'm going to click on the Mailings tab. And when I get into the Mailings tab, I'm going to click right over here, Start Mail Merge. I'm going to click on that, and the drop-down menu will appear. And I'm going to click on Letters, because that's the video that I'm doing today, Mail Merging Letters. Alright, now, nothing has really changed about my screen. I did click on Letters, so now what I need to make sure that I do is I'm going to come up here to Select Recipients. And I'm going to use an existing list, which would be the Mail Merge database that I created. And remember, I saved that onto my desktop. Now, you don't have to save this onto your desktop. It's just what I chose to do. Makes it easier for me doing these videos. So I'm going to click on Mail Merge Database. I'm going to open it. Now, you're going to notice that it's asking you about Sheet 1, Sheet 2, Sheet 3. It's asking you to pick one. Whenever you open up an Excel sheet, an Excel spreadsheet, it actually creates 3 spreadsheets for you. You can see them down here. They say they're Sheet 1, Sheet 2, and Sheet 3. By default, you always open up and you are entering data into Sheet 1. So if all of your information is on Sheet 1, then you want to choose Sheet 1 on your list. Now, you may not see Sheet 1, Sheet 2, and Sheet 3 if you're using something at work. Your boss or the person in charge of it, or HR, or whoever created the database may have actually changed the name of Sheet 1 to something else. So choose the appropriate spreadsheet name that pops up that has your database in it. So I'm going to exit out of that Excel document. We're going to come back to this. Now my data is on Sheet 1, so you can see that Sheet 1 is highlighted. Also down here, very important, remember I talked about those headers and how they can make life a little bit easier for us. This first row of data contains column headers. That is checked off automatically. Hopefully you do have the headers, and I do, so I'm going to keep it checked, and I'm going to click OK. Alright, so what I'm going to do right now is I have actually copied a basic letter that I'm going to be sending to people. So I have the date up here. I have my letter written, and then I have my signature. Now, what I don't have is the address block. Now, typically with these letters, you see the date followed up by you'll see the address block. So you'll see your name with your address, your city, state, zip code, and so we're going to insert that address block. Now we can just click on address block. So we have two options at this point when we go to input the address block. I can do it manually by going to insert merge field, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. But what I want to show you is address block. This is where those headers are really useful. Because you have used headers, you can actually use the address block function. So we're going to click on it. And you can see right over here, it's automatically generated an address block for every person in my database. This one is on John Smith. If you want to view the other people in your database, you click on this little arrow that says next. And I can see Sue Doe, 20 Main Street, Sumner, Maine, 04292. And Doug Poe, Molly Lang. Now, if you're working for a big company, you probably don't need to preview this recipient list because you're probably going to have thousands of people on this list. If the first person is correct, then typically everyone that follows will be correct as well. So there's really no need to sift through this. But if you just want to see it, if you're just one of those people that needs to see it before you do it, before you follow through with it, definitely sift through it if your list is small enough. Also, if something is not appearing correctly here, you want to click on Match Fields, because, and this is where the headers come into play. The headers we created, what Microsoft Word does is it actually searches through your headers, it looks at the labels you created, and it tries to match each of the labels you created with their labels for the address block. So it looked through my headers, and one of my headers was labeled first, so Microsoft Word automatically matched that with first name. If this header is correct, then I leave it. If it's not, and first actually doesn't represent the first name of the person, then I would click on the drop down arrow, and I would pick which header represented the first name of the people. And same thing with last name. Last name, it saw last, so it matched that up with last name. It saw the header for address, so it matched that up with address 1. City with city, state with state, zip with postal code. So it's even smart enough to pick up on that. Like postal code looks nothing like zip, but Word is intelligent enough that it figured out that zip stood for zip code, which could also be translated to postal code. And it automatically matched those two up. Now, if it did, like I said, if it didn't match things up correctly, you can fix that here. And again, that menu is found under Match Fields, so you can fix any errors under Match Fields. Okay? So I'm going to click OK because everything looks good to me. So I'm going to click OK, and I now have my address block. And if we come up here to preview, you can actually see what happens is it automatically creates the address block for me. Now I'm going to undo the preview. Now remember, I did say you could insert things manually, so we're going to just kind of show you how that works for a second right here. It says Insert Merge Field. If you click on that, I can any of my headers, I can click on that. So if I click on last, it will automatically put the person's last name here. And then I can input another one. I can input first. Automatically puts the first person's name, first name of the person there. Because yeah. So if I click on Preview Results, you can see Smith John. And if I put a space between these guys, between last and first, like that, because before you saw there was no space between the last name and the first name. If I put a space between them, the space will appear between them here as well. So any formatting you do does appear. Now I'm going to delete those because obviously I don't want that information there. But that's how you can create your own address block, is by manually inserting the fields. So I have my address block, which is what I want. I'm going to hit space twice, and I'm going to now insert my greeting line. Yet another benefit of having those headers. So I'm going to click on greeting line, and you can see it's automatically going to create the dear field, the name, the comma, and you can change all that. And then also, if there's an invalid name, it's just going to say Dear Sir or Madam. And you can preview it right here. You can preview it with each of your people, just like you could before. If something's not matching up, click on Match Fields, and you can fix it, just like before with the address block. Then you're going to click OK. Greeting line. Let's preview. So date, address block, and then there's our greeting line. I've already written my letter. I've got my signature, so I'm ready to go. I'm going to click on Finish and Merge, and so we have some options. You can print the documents, and it will print a letter for each recipient in your database. Or if you want, you can actually take the time and you can individually edit each person's letter. So if you want to input a personalized message for each person, you can still do that. So I'm going to click Edit Individual, Merge Records. We can click on All, and so everybody's letter will now appear in my Word document. So here's John's letter. If we scroll down, okay, there's Sue's letter. There's Doug's letter. There's Molly's letter. So all 4 people from my database are here. And then now if I want to, I can go in and personalize each letter. If I don't want to, then I can just print. Now I could have printed before by clicking on the printing option, but I just wanted to show you what it would look like if you chose to edit and personalize the letters individually. Once you've finished that, you can then just click print, and you will have your personalized letters. And if there's anywhere else in your letter where you want to insert a field from your database, like if I wanted to insert their phone number somewhere, for some reason I wanted to insert their phone number at the end of this letter, you could have clicked on Insert Merge Field and input the phone number field. Now, right now, I can't do any of that. I can't mess with anything because I've actually clicked on Finish, and I'm actually supposed to be putting on my final touches right now. So at this point, I would just hit Print, or you could save it by clicking this button up here, and then come back to it and print it whenever you have time to print it. So that is it on mail merges with letters. Hopefully this was helpful to you, and I will be making more videos on mail merging and how to mail merge with labels, envelopes, and emails. So please tune in for those. Thank you.